He strode through midfield like a man owning every blade of grass. Michael Ballack, tall, imposing, tactically sharp, a true midfield general. But nearly a decade after his retirement, the question lingers: why has modern football, so quick to enshrine its icons, largely moved past him? This video dives deep. Was Ballack simply a product of his time, or did his era prematurely dim the light on a player whose blend of leadership, technique, and power was unmatched in his day, and remains rare now? Join me as I unpack the journey of the Little Kaiser, from East German roots to Bundesliga glory, to the nuances of a legacy that may have been too versatile and too quietly dominant to fit football's modern narrative. Roots in Görlitz and rise through Kaiserslautern. Born in Görlitz in 1976, Michael Ballack came of age during a time of monumental change. In the shadow of the Iron Curtain, football wasn't about celebrity, it was about resilience. Raised in Chemnitz, then Karl-Marx-Stadt, he cut his teeth physically and mentally rigorous. His early nickname, the Little Kaiser, hinted at something elemental, a commanding presence not built on flair, but on force of will and understated authority. After making a name at Chemnitzer FC, he moved to FC Kaiserslautern in 1997. There, he didn't merely join a Bundesliga club, he helped lift them to a title in his very first season. It was an early signal. Ballack was more than a promising young talent. He was quietly exceptional, a midfield cornerstone built on drive, timing, and intelligence. No grand entrance, just the slow and steady assertion of a midfield master. Bayer Leverkusen, brilliance, amid heartbreak. The next phase? Bayer Leverkusen, where Ballack really came into his own. Between 2001 and 2002, he helped propel the club to the brink of greatness and heartbreak. They finished second in the Bundesliga, runners-up in the DFB Pokal, and lost the Champions League final in agonizing fashion. Neverkusen became the moniker, a cruel shorthand for near glory. Yet in the chaos of heartbreak, Ballack shone consistently. He scored from midfield, orchestrated attacks, and carried himself with a blend of poise and aggression that refused to fade beneath the losses. He was that rare breed, a midfielder who wore disappointment like armor, sharpening rather than dulling his edge. In the leaks between Leverkusen's near misses, Ballack's profile rose, without hoopla, just performance. And if heartbreak made him a nearly man, it also forged him into one of the most reliable and respected midfielders in Europe. At Bayern Munich, accumulating silver, building legacy. Transferring to Bayern Munich in 2002, Ballack stepped onto a grander stage, one better matched to his talents. With Bayern, he amassed 3 Bundesliga titles and 3 DFB Pokal trophies in 4 seasons. His goal returns? Astonishing for a midfielder. 44 league goals during that period. He seemed omnipresent, commanding aerial duels, spraying long balls, arriving late in the box, scoring from distance. Yet some critics wondered if his performances truly matched those trophy hauls, especially in key Champions League matches where Bayern fell short. Still, even off the biggest nights, Ballack's influence was clear. His consistency, physicality, and tactical intelligence were the backbone of Bayern's dominance. Underneath the silverware, the Little Kaiser cemented a core truth. A midfielder didn't need flash to define eras, and that quiet dominance in the engine room could propel you to the summit of German football. Premiership arrival, Chelsea's commander. In 2006, Ballack crossed to the Premier League, joining Chelsea just as Roman Abramovich's project geared toward dominance. Though injuries nicked his form, his presence was immediate. He scored, and famously so, against Manchester United, asserting midfield authority from day one. Critics noted a lack of mobility early on, but what Chelsea gained was clear: a central figure with experience, composure, and lethal late-box instincts. Over his tenure, he helped Chelsea chase Premier League and FA Cup silverware, and reach the Champions League final. He wasn't the flashy dribbler or flair product. He was the pulse, a metronome, a steward. In a league defined by intensity and emotion, Ballack's blend of power, control, and leadership made him fit seamlessly. Not as a star in neon boots, but as a general with silent confidence, guiding his side through both pressure and pace. The complete midfielder: skills, style, substance. What made Ballack extraordinary wasn't a singular skill, it was multiplicity. He was box to box, yes, but that label barely scratches the surface. Taller than most, he could win headers and shield possession with power. On the ball, his passing range cut lines or sustained possession. Off it, his tackling and physicality disrupted. And when he advanced, he scored from distance, from the spot, from headers, always with precision. 442 once labeled him complete, and that wasn't hubris but accuracy. He harmonized tenacity and elegance. His positional sense allowed him to timing those late runs into the penalty box, always a step ahead of defenders. But beyond mechanics, there was leadership. A visceral calmness, the way he carried himself in tight moments, the firmness in his voice, eyes scanning the field, demanding standards without raising his tone. Ballack wasn't loud. He didn't need to be. His presence, both physical and psychological, was the kind of leadership that anchors teams and evokes peace amid chaos. International stage, heartbreak and heroism. On the international stage, Ballack was the standard bearer for Germany. As captain from Euro 2004 onward, he led with conviction. He finished with 98 caps and 42 goals, a remarkable tally for a midfielder. Tournament highs were tempered by agonizing lows. Suspended for the 2002 World Cup final, he watched from the sidelines as Germany lost. In 2006's home World Cup, he helped power his side to the semi-final, scoring crucial goals, but fleeting. Euro 2008 saw him lead Germany to the final again, but again to defeat. His era became a litany of runners-up finishes, and those moments erected a bittersweet legacy. He was admired as one of the most important players Germany never had lift a trophy as captain. The serial bridesmaid tag, unfair perhaps, but resonant, underscored how central he was to near triumphs, yet how fleeting the glory remained. In heartbreak, Ballack's heroism felt eternal. The silver eluded him, but the leadership left a mark on a generation. Modern football and the fade of the forgotten. So why march Ballack's legacy into the corridors of quiet oblivion? Modern football prizes specialization. Today's midfielders often fall into categories: pressing destroyers, deep-lying playmakers, box-to-box dynamos, yet rarely all with equal stature. Analytics love volume. Touches, progressive passes, pressing actions. Ballack excelled across dimensions, but rarely led league highlight reels in any single one. Add to that, no Champions League triumph, recurring injuries, and the shift to shorter memory cycles in the age of social media. He didn't sport viral dribbles, hashtag moments, or flaunt flamboyance. He was the total package, but in an era increasingly pigeonholing players, that might have made him harder to brand. And so, this general of midfield became, in many narratives, a what-if, a missing piece in highlight packages overshadowed by specialists. Football forgot, perhaps, because he was too complete and too calm for a world addicted to spectacle. Legacy revisited, relevance, and rediscovery. Yet Ballack's legacy hasn't disappeared. It's quietly resurfacing. As a pundit and mentor, he speaks of game intelligence, versatility, and leadership. Not flashy metrics, but core qualities of elite midfielders. Youth coaches highlight the value of multi-role midfielders. Players who can defend, pass, move, shoot, lead. In Europe and beyond, players are being shaped with his blueprint in mind. While modern branding favors extremes, football's foundational wisdom recognizes value in complete midfielders again. Writers and historians, retrospective in tone, now frame Ballack as a multifaceted core, a renaissance man of midfield, remembered now not just for near misses, but for a style robust beyond a single dimension, capable of carrying club and country. The quiet reappraisal feels overdue, and may seed influences for coaches looking back for templates of balanced domination. If you enjoyed this look back at Michael Ballack's legacy, hit like, subscribe, and share, so more fans can remember the midfield general modern football forgot.